Hey everybody, just gonna give a couple more minutes, maybe 1 minute here, as people continue to funnel in and join us. I'll be getting on a couple of things for you guys to see. Great. For those just joining, funneling in here, I'm waiting for a couple more people as people join. I'm also turning on the chat window here on my computer. So if you guys do have any questions, you can either use the QA function, question and answers, or feel free to just chat right in. Cool. Okay, seems like we got a good amount of people here. I'm probably just gonna get started, and as people join, if there's enough, maybe I'll recap some things here. So let's get started. Okay, so today, I wanted to show you guys something that's, you know, still a free kind of like situation. You don't need to be an expert programmer. You don't need to be someone that is like an AI pro to leverage this. But what we're going to do is we're going to build what are called custom GPTs today. I use a variety of custom GPTs almost every day. And it's something that I build out for repetitive tasks, one, or things that need a lot of background information. Meaning, if you wanted to make a GPT for every project that you're working on, you could feed it all the previous documentations, PDFs, and so on to make it happen. So I'm just going to jump in here because this slideshow that I put together for you guys today, it goes into a lot of that kind of stuff. So, I'm gonna talk a lot about the back office here, just because that's what I'm building currently every day. I was up to like 10 p.m. coding a certificate of insurance AI analyzer agent that you upload a certificate of insurance and it reads the entire Accord 25 form, all the endorsements and everything. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the back office paperwork here because it's what I do at contractsconnected.com. But take what I'm talking about here and apply it to whatever you're working on in your business. So AI tools like ChatGPT are revolutionizing the construction industry by significantly reducing the time and effort spent on paperwork and routine administrative tasks. From drafting daily reports and our RFI emails to scheduling inspections, generative AI streamlines these workflows in back office of general contracting firms where employees manage an array of contracts compliance documents, PDFs, and AI-driven solutions can enhance this efficiency by automating those repetitive tasks and really doing all the grunt work for you. So that's what we're trying to do here is how much grunt work can we take off of your plate? So, why and when should you create a custom GPT like we're going to go over today? Um, Tailored assistance for construction, GPT, like a custom GPT acts as a specialized assistant to your construction company, allowing you to configure the AI with your internal guidelines and documents. This customization ensures that the AI provides relevant and accurate responses tailored to your specific operational needs. So again, we're getting away from this like generic, the way everybody uses ChatGPT kind of use case, other people in your office or other construction teams. We're getting away from that. We want to be on the highest level in terms of we're good, we know what we're doing, the system knows what we're doing, we're getting tailored responses. I'm not spending more time, coaching it on what it should do or what it should say. It's automatically going to know that stuff. Enhanced accuracy with company knowledge. So again, we are stepping away from the generic, stepping away from that everyday AI user that doesn't spend the time to come to the trainings like this or invest into how they can use it better and leverage it more effectively. And we're stepping into customization. By uploading your company's specific documents, whether they're project related or company operations related, into a custom GPT, you enhance its ability to provide precise information that aligns with your internal processes, making it a reliable resource for contract clauses, compliance guidelines, project details, subcontract information, you name it, the list goes on and on and on. Increased efficiency through direct access, the ability to use a private knowledge base means that your custom GPT can access relevant information directly from your documents, reducing the time spent searching for answers and increasing efficiency in your operations. Now, we're going to build a custom GPT together, and it's so easy. It's going to blow your mind how easy this is. But I'm going to kind of overview what we will be doing, and then I'm just going to show it to you. So, first, you want to kind of define that use case, identify specific tasks or functions the custom GPT will serve, such as a contract review or compliance checking, gather relevant materials and documents needed for the AI's training. So, you're not creating this like if you just created one custom GPT, there'd be nothing special about it. These GPTs you need to almost think of as, if I was going to have an employee, I'm going to create a contract administrator GPT. I'm going to create a project manager GPT. They're touching very specific documents in very specific ways, and you're training it to kind of answer in very specific ways. And we'll get into that in just a second. It sounds more complex than it is. Then we're going to log into ChatGPT, navigate to the GPT Builder interface, and start creating it just by hitting create. They make it super user friendly. The core settings, this is where the magic is going to happen for us. So, we're going to set our name, description, and specific instructions. The instructions can also sometimes be worded as system prompts. So a system prompt is just, the brain. You're giving your GPT a brain, and you're telling it who it should act as, how it should act, and how it should analyze things. AI's behavior and responses aligning with them with your company standards. So you can also, train it on any documentation. And this is the documentation I'm talking about. Upload knowledge files. So integrate company knowledge by uploading relevant documents like contracts, compliance manuals, templates for the AI to reference. So you're essentially going to just upload a bunch of PDFs, a bunch of Word docs. You're giving it previous knowledge that it didn't have previously. So, if you're talking to just ChatGPT, it doesn't know anything about what's going on with your project. It doesn't know anything about timelines. It doesn't know anything about the documents you have or don't have. You're going to enable relevant capabilities. So depending on your needs, you're going to activate features like advanced data analysis. If you guys are uploading a ton of Excel sheets to enhance your ChatGPT's functionality for tasks such as data crunching and document analysis. Then we're going to build, test, refine. So we're going to send some messages. If we like it, great. We'll continue. If we need to change the tone, if you're like, oh man, that's great, but I don't write emails like that. And the whole purpose of this is to respond to emails from subs or so on. You can adjust this and we can refine it. It's not set in stone. And the one thing about testing and refining is you guys might be familiar with testing and refining via just prompts. So if it gives you a email template, you could say make this longer, make this shorter, make this more professional, make this more friendly. You could set the tone, but the next time you go to do this, it's not going to remember all that context. We're putting this in here so from day one, from message one, it's going to be able to reference that like it was just previously typed in a second ago saying make this more professional or structure it like this. Okay, and then we're just going to publish it and you're going to be able to see where it saves on my screen in my ChatGPT account and how to use it. So, we're going to look into, again, um, let me just zoom in here so you guys get a better idea here. Oops. All right. There we go. So we're transforming repetitive tasks with custom GPTs, and that's what we want to focus on. You should not create a custom GPT if it's not something you're going to be doing multiple times and it's not repetitive. Custom GPTs can streamline repetitive tasks in construction by automating contract reviews, compliance checks, document management, and communication tasks. Remember, this is going to be focused on the back office because that's what Contracts Connected is building is AI for the back office. We're building an AI contract administrator, but take these examples and apply them to yourself. These AI solutions reduce the burden of manual labor, allowing teams to focus on more critical tasks. For example, a custom GPT can easily extract key clauses from a lengthy contract or generate compliance reports based on uploaded guidelines, saving the team time and ensuring accuracy. So you can see how you're kind of like building your own software at this point. This is all of the fancy stuff that you're seeing in all these expensive AI tools out there. All they're doing is they're basically creating custom GPTs to a certain extent, right? Like the interaction of the interface and how you can upload documents and stuff like that might change. But you know, in terms of challenges here, in contrast, these like traditional methods require significant manual effort and time. I don't have to tell you guys, the whole reason we're using AI is to save us time at the end of the day. Okay, so my use case here, I'm going to be talking about, the efficiency in contract review, and I'm going to share my screen and build out a custom GPT with you. Construction contracts can easily exceed over those 30 pages and are, filled with intricate legal language, making thorough time review time consuming, and prone to oversight. Custom GPTs can streamline this and process significantly, allowing for rapid scanning and analysis. We're also going to be looking at automated clause analysis today. By uploading standard contracts and templates into the custom GPT, users can instantly receive insights on critical clauses, deviations from norms, and potential risks without manual input or review. And then risk identification and summarization. The AI can summarize obligations and flag unusual terms, ensuring compliance with company standards while saving valuable time for project managers and legal teams. So, if I'm talking about, going deeper into this custom GPT I'm about to create with you guys, construction projects face a lot of compliance requirements that can be challenging to monitor manually. Utilizing a custom GPT as a compliance assistant streamlines this process by automating the generation of compliance checklists, answering relevant queries, and drafting comprehensive audit reports. This AI tool leverages company-specific knowledge to ensure adherence to the regulations and internal standards, reducing the workload and enhancing accuracy and compliance related tasks here. Oops, skipped ahead. There we go. So, how we're going to set this up. First, I'm going to upload, a lot of our construction documents, such as report specifications or contracts into the GPT. The AI is trained to understand the context. And by the way, I'm just going to upload PDFs. I'm not needing to put this in any fancy form or even convert it into a Word doc. I'm just doing PDFs. We're gonna target questions to extract specific information from this, such as material specifications or regulatory requirements. The AI quickly locates and presents relevant excerpts, saving time and reducing manual searching. And then we're going to have it kind of like summarize these large documents, providing concise overviews that highlight key points, findings, and recommendations. This helps in preparing briefings, or simplifying information for stakeholders. And then we're going to say, we also want you to be able to do comparative analysis. Load multiple versions of documents for side-by-side comparison. The GPT highlights differences, tracks revisions, and identifies inconsistencies. And then we want to basically combine all this up and put it into a nice little summary for us to take action on. Just quickly here, we're talking about, the ability to take really complex, a lot of moving parts, a lot of Excel sheets, a lot of trackers, a lot of documents, and we're going to put it all into one place so you guys can ask single-line questions and get complex analysis back and be able to communicate that with the team. So I'm gonna pause here. This is the next kind of like workflow that I wanted to get into. There's so many use cases for custom GPTs. I'm gonna talk a little bit about contracts first, and then we're gonna look at a couple of their use cases here. So this one in particular is about onboarding team members and getting them kind of like up to speed. And you can use a custom GPT as like your onboarding specialist. So at this point, I'm going to switch over to my ChatGPT account, and you guys can let me know if you can't see it. You should be able to see this. And essentially, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to actually expand this. So you guys are going to see these GPTs that I have here. One really cool one that I use a lot actually is called Jim the Contracts Connected Avatar. Just to give you guys another use case of how this is being used. So this acts like Jim, a 50-year-old general contractor owner, and Contracts Connected Avatar. So at Contracts Connected, we're always thinking about, what is keeping our customers up at night? How can we make their lives better? What can we do to be in their corner? And, this, if I come into here, I'll click on edit. So I'll show you one that's already been set up. And then we're going to build one together. So this one is again, very, very common for us to use because we're always thinking about our customers. But here, you can see how I set this up. So when you click on create a new ChatGPT, custom GPT, you give it a name, a description, instructions, conversation starters, knowledge, and if you want to choose, what kind of like GPT model to use here. You can also give it access to search the web. You can also give it access to, generate images or code things, depending on what you're using this for. So, one kind of like, you guys are going to probably laugh at this, but we want to be able to write, copy. We want to be able to write courses. We want to be able to provide value to someone, that we think of as like one of our typical users of Contracts Connected. So here you're going to see, Jim the Contracts Connected Avatar represents a 50-year-old general contractor that owns a construction business, and he uses our platform. So then we say a little bit about him. So his demographics, he's here, psychographics, like Jim exhibits a strong interest in construction, business, architecture. He continuously seeks to expand his knowledge in these domains. His pains are that his primary business challenges revolve around back office operations. He battles with organized contract management due to time-consuming tasks of creating contracts, tracking their status, and so on. His fears, like he's deeply rooted in this non-compliance repercussion fear, scope ambiguities, misplaced contracts. It injects stress into stuff, hopes and dreams, fears, frustrations, emotional outcomes, um, uh, key remarks from peers. They think of him as hardworking and so on. So this is kind of how we've trained this in terms of instructions, which you guys might think is kind of interesting. But then when I click something over here, if we're going to preview it, let me just minimize this. I'll update my GPT. I can come in here and I can ask any question, and it's going to reference all of that stuff like it's the first time. And what you guys are typically seeing right now with the way you're currently probably using ChatGPT is you ask it a question, it gives you an answer. You say, "Oh, refine it this way, refine it that way, refine it this way." Okay, it's done. The cool thing about a custom GPT is you don't have to go over those refinements. It's like you've already asked for all those refinements and you've wrote a really long prompt. Like imagine me writing this entire thing every single time that I want to ask a question. It would have to have all of these instructions, it would have to have these PDFs, and then I would ask it a question. And a thread is not the same as a custom GPT. A custom GPT is much more powerful here, and you're going to see that out of the answers. So it's basically able to come in here and say, these things like automated contract drafting, compliance management, scope writing and flow down clause, automation, centralized document management, project-based contract management, task tracking and approval workflows, and change order management, all being things that he loves about the product. And this is also going to be trained on the product. But let's say you want to create a new GPT. So what I'm going to do here is, oops, I basically have to expand this. And in GPTs, you're going to click it and you're then going to see that there are pre-built GPTs. So I could turn any of these public and the entire, world can come in here and use them. A lot of people have put a lot of effort into these GPTs. It's something that ChatGPT released. It hasn't gained a ton of traction, I guess you could say. People do use them, but it's not so common, right? So these are actually made by ChatGPT trying to promote custom GPTs. This is having you like try to help you edit images a little bit different, make coloring book images. There's writing, so this is like humanizes the way that you write. This one makes songs. This one's like an AI for product managers. There are some construction ones already made in here. Then down here you have like some deeper research and analysis, GPTs, education, lifestyle, so on, right? I can type in, just to show you guys what comes up. And these are as simple as, 25,000 people have put this in. 25,000 people have used this construction estimating pro GPT. And all this does is this just loads it into your account with all those previous instructions. And we're going to make our own, but there are people out here that have spent a ton of time, creating these custom GPTs for you guys, and you can simply access them. Oops, looks like ChatGPT is having some issues. What about this one? I should have loaded it already. I imagine ChatGPT might be having a bug. Yeah, we're gonna make our own. Okay, but the key thing here is, you don't have to. Oh, here we go. This one worked. So there's ratings here. You guys can see, how good it is. This one's by Sonar Labs. I actually talked to the founder of this, that created this. But you can basically come in here, start a chat, and you can start working with it. And this construction estimator, you can't edit this GPT, meaning you can't see what it's trained on, but you'll be able to kind of get a really good sense of how good it was trained, just by asking a couple quick questions here. So this one's an estimator, but there are endless. So coming back to GPTs, I'm going to come over and I see up here in the top right hand corner my GPTs and create. So I'm actually going to cheat here. I'm going to have ChatGPT write instructions for a custom GPT. So I want to make a custom GPT that will have all my previous contracts for a project called the Sunrise Okay. And then it's going to kind of think through this. Meanwhile, we can give it a name. So this is going to be the AI live demo contract tool or Sunrise Logistics. We'll just say for Sunrise. A description. Okay, so here it is. It's already making that. So I'm just going to put this in for the description for us. So here it's giving the instructions, and it's very important to kind of like break these things out, like objectives, rules, risk. Um, JSON is a little bit more like too complex for this. I'm just going to say, just for the example. So just so you guys know, JSON is a way that AI reads things. This is just the code. And you're just seeing like it labels something and then it gives you what it has underneath that label. Labels something, gives you what it has underneath that label. This is much better. So we're going to take this, we're going to put this over here. You can expand this because these instructions can be pretty long. Um, this is instructions for use. Okay. So this is a perfect example of why I would need a custom GPT. I'm going back and forth and I'm having to tell it stuff. If I had a custom GPT, I wouldn't have to. Here we go. So I'm not even going to take any of this JSON stuff that it keeps creating. Conversation starters, so you can have these. These are going to show in your, run a daily report on what docs are missing, vendors. And you're going to see these show here. So when you go to turn on your, click into your GPT, you're going to see some predefined things. So if there's repeated prompts that you're going to ask over and over and over, you can put them in here, and you will just be able to click a button rather than having to type the whole question every time. Pull up all the And then lastly, you can upload files. So uploading the files here is going to be probably the most important piece of this. I'm actually going to upload, I think I have a couple of things here. So I'm uploading a variety of Word documents and PDF documents. This is going to create the kind of knowledge base in which this custom GPT is going to operate off of. If I only want it to be able to reference the documents that I give it, I can turn off web search, Canvas, and image generation, depending on what you guys need. Now, the data analysis is if you guys will be uploading large sums of data, Excel sheets, you know, basically like pages and pages of kind of like things that it's going to need to calculate, anything like that, you guys can actually turn on this data analysis. Additionally, you can have an action in here. So we're getting kind of into like an agentic flow at this point, and that's beyond the scope of what we wanted to talk about today. But just know that you can have this automatically kind of set those things up for you. All right. So I'm going to then go ahead and come in here and I'm going to create this. You can change the permissions here. So if you want only your team or only yourself to be able to see it, choose anybody with the link. If you want only yourself, only me. And then you have the ChatGPT store. So I'm going to do this. And again, we're creating a knowledge base here for us to be able to ask answers to. So now on my left-hand side, you're going to be able to see this. And my predefined question here is going to be able to ask this. You can also upload new documents. So if you get new contracts or anything that is additional that you want this GPT to have knowledge on, whether it's a change order, an RFI, you can continue to add to this AI custom GPTs docs. Now, this is very specific to a project. Um, and it's probably gonna make up some stuff here because I haven't actually structured the docs other than the ones that I've uploaded here into the knowledge base. So let's just see what it gives us. But you can do this for anything in your company, whether it's onboarding new employees, whether it's, having them check a specific kind of format when they're emailing certain things. Say here it is looking at my folders. There it gives me a CSV report. So this is going to be just something that you can put your knowledge into and then continuously ask it questions or continuously improve upon that knowledge. So, this can also create things like an interactive FAQ for employees. A custom GPT can function as an interactive FAQ, providing instant answers to common questions related to company policies, procedures, and training materials. So, this improves accessibility to information for new hires and seasoned employees alike, reducing the learning curve. It's also focused on reducing the burden from an administration standpoint of managing, answering questions, stuff like that. You can have it all loaded into a GPT that's like a company wiki that people can always reference. Real-time reference to key documents by uploading key documents such as employee handbooks, project management SOPs, and training manuals. The GPT can reference specific content, ensuring accurate guidance in real time. This enables employees to find information independently. So again, we're giving all of the knowledge to the employees at the right time in the right way where they can just ask a simple question and find what they need. Um, Using a custom GPT for training can also streamline the onboarding process by providing tailored content and answering questions 24/7, thereby alleviating the workload on HR, like I mentioned. Best practices here when we are creating a custom GPT. To maximize the effectiveness of your custom GPT, implement best practices like I'm going to go over here as maintaining a focused purpose, providing clear instructions, and leveraging relevant knowledge documents. Regularly test and refine the GPT with real scenarios, keep it updated with current information, and ensure data sensitivity is prioritized. Always review the outputs generated to maintain a quality, especially if you're creating this in a way that like I'm uploading a bunch of information, but my employees are going to be using this without my oversight, or so on. Now, continuing on here. Limitations and considerations to, understand when you're getting in here and you're making your first custom GPT to really kind of leverage and be above and kind of further ahead than most with AI. You want to think about a few things when building out your first custom GPT. The first thing is data freshness. ChatGPT is not going to automatically update its knowledge, and it requires manual input of the latest information unless browsing is enabled. So we checked off web browsing in the example that I built out with you guys just now, but this means recent changes in regulations or standards need to be uploaded for accurate responses. So keeping your database up to date, whether it's an onboarding kind of custom GPT or whether it's a project-based custom GPT, this stuff needs to be really dialed in as far as it only knows what you give it. And that's the whole point of us creating this from the first place. We don't want it to just have generic information. The AI lacks real-world experience and cannot visually address job sites or interpret blueprints. It should be used to support documentation and planning, but not for live decision making. Again, I talk about this all of the time in these free AI webinars that, AI is here to replace a lot of grunt work. Think generating documents, tracking documents, analyzing documents, documents that are flying across the internet. But so much of construction happens outside of the computer. So much of it is relationship based. So much of it is, this needs to be moved here. This needs to happen at this time after this guy's done on site. Oh, we had a hiccup today, or the weather is happening. All of this stuff is not yet able to be automated by AI, but that's where field experience comes in. And right now, to do this heavy lift, we need to be programming things that it can actually do. Output quality. The quality of responses from ChatGPT is heavily dependent on the clarity and accuracy of the inputs. Very vague or like even incorrect prompting can lead to unreliable outputs. And this goes for everything from, everything in generative AI at least follows this. You don't want to simply put in a one line instruction for your custom GPT. You're never going to get you're never going to get great answers from that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to make sure that you spend a lot of time up front on the prompt, just like I went over in, previous webinars where we really dialed into prompts and making sure that it has all the information it needs before it gets started. Accuracy and completeness. There's no guarantee that the AI will provide complete or accurate information, particularly if the queries are vague or if critical context is missing. So again, this goes back to my advanced prompting webinar that I did a couple weeks ago with you guys. But in terms of this custom GPT, you have to take it even like 10 steps further. You need to upload all of the critical information for this custom GPT to be able to analyze and give you back the information it needs. Whether you're asking it a simple HR related question or whether you're asking it a full question around project documents like spec sections and what those spec sections entail, if it doesn't have that to reference, it's never going to be able to give you that. So think of this as advanced prompting. With that advanced prompting training, we talked quite a bit about, framing it up, giving it everything it needs from prompt number one. This goes even a step further. Give it all the PDFs it needs before you have it, start analyzing. Give it all the information it needs to make those decisions. Document handling limits. So custom GPTs face challenges when processing long documents, which may lead to incomplete understanding or missed information when overloaded with text. So with this, when we were loading in these here, let's go to, let's edit this GPT just so I can show you guys. All right. So in the knowledge section here, this is what it's talking about. We're talking about the length of these and how realistic this can be with what you upload and how it answers what you upload. It's better to kind of separate these things out into multiple documents with very distinct file names. That's a pro tip. I've found that the longer the document, the less accurate I get with my AI, my custom GPT at least. So if you can fill these out as attachments, if you can fill these out as, a couple page here, a couple pages there, and make them more specific, you're going to get better results. Same with your like, let's talk about the HR use case example. Putting different handbooks in there as different names rather than one gigantic handbook, that's going to be a lot more useful. And it's traditionally the way that we're already ingesting the documents ourselves as well. Custom GPTs draw from your data. Underlying biases from the training data may still influence outputs. You know, ChatGPT in general, and this goes for any way that you ever use it. I see people on like a level one drafting emails, but I see people that kind of really lean into AI and how it can help them every day start to do a lot more, such as, analyzing decisions, analyzing, data, analyzing what I should do, what's the best path forward. Even from an HR perspective, it's now giving opinions on people and stuff like that. You need to understand that ChatGPT is very much like a yes man, and you're going to run into the bias of a yes man, especially when we've created a custom GPT like we did here earlier, and we've put in data here. So this is its brain, it's all it knows. You have to kind of be aware of that. And you need to understand that it's very likely that it's going to just kind of agree with you, or it's just going to basically be a yes man to you on data it already has, rather than doing a critical analysis and presenting a better path forward. So just keep that in mind, whether you're building a custom GPT like we did today, or whether you're, just using ChatGPT in your day-to-day kind of operations, it is traditionally a yes man. So, in terms of the advantages of having a custom GPT over the kind of like way that the industry is currently using ChatGPT, these custom GPTs in ChatGPT offer construction companies a revolutionary way to improve efficiency in back office tasks. By automating contract analysis, compliance checks, and other document management, these AI assistants free up valuable time for teams and to focus on high-level decision making and job site issues. Their ability to generate precise outputs in seconds enhances productivity and accuracy, making them indispensable in the modern construction management. And in terms of, considerations to effectively implement a custom GPT, while there are benefits of custom GPTs and they're significant, it's important to remain aware of their limitations. They may not always have access to real-time data, without you manually giving it to it, and can occasionally produce inaccuracies if the input quality is poor. So again, in terms of real-time data, we talked about that in a webinar, last webinar, connectors, connecting it to your SharePoint, connecting it to your Gmail, that kind of stuff can kind of mitigate this. But when you're in a custom GPT, it does not have access to those connectors currently. Additionally, the AI lacks field experience and cannot make on-site judgment, which is the perfect reason for why AI is not replacing a lot of the construction industry, more about the back office, more about these documents. Therefore, while embracing AI, construction professionals must ensure oversight and continue applying their expertise to the outputs generated by these tools. Now, overall, I wanted to kind of like open it up for Q&A, but I also wanted to jump into this GPT marketplace here with you guys. I have about 13 minutes here, and I wanted to leave enough time to get into some of these custom GPTs. Um, So while I pull up these construction GPTs, if there's any Q&A kind of situations here, please let me know. Again, this is all about creating something you're going to go back to over and over. These are all things that I've made. I've even made one about comparing contracts. Um, let's see if it will load it up. ChatGPT decides to be a little slow today on the one day that I want to show everything inside of it. So I have this tool here that I built, and what this does is it takes two contracts and it compares them, finds any differences, and assess the risks. So think red lines here. You have your original subcontract, you have a red line subcontract, you upload both of them. This is going to be able to tell you the differences as well as the risk. I've also built this one. I draft contracts for general contractors working within the United States. You can say, can you draft a contract based on the contract's constructor template? So when I'm talking about how I trained this, um, I basically came in here and I uploaded a ton of different examples of subcontracts. Now it has that in its brain to operate off of when I ask it to write a new one. So I'm just going to say, fill in with test data, just so you guys can see it generate this. So this is going to be like a design build. And here it's literally referencing the hundreds of subcontracts that I've loaded in there to start drafting out the terms. But let's come back here. So in here, there's quite a bit of usage from construction um, people in terms of these custom GPTs. So there's already tens of thousands of people using these custom GPTs on a daily basis. But streamline your construction projects with AI-driven management tools. Let's check this one out. 4.4 stars, over 300 construction people have, reviewed it. Here's its main conversation starters, and you can actually go read those reviews as well if you'd need. But I'm basically going to say, tell me about your capabilities. I want to get to know you. So I would come in here. These are all like free apps in your app store on your phone or something. These have all been built out by people, and I almost promise you that they've spent quite a bit of time building this out. So, what can this custom GPT do? And you can save it on the side here and always come back to it if you'd like to. But, it helps with project planning, scheduling, team and stakeholder coordination, resource management, progress tracking and reporting, data analysis, problem solving, and issue resolution, document support, visual integration, and celebrating milestones. Important. Don't forget to celebrate. Gives you special features, interactive tools, live data processing, upload spreadsheets or documents, and I can extract insights or correct project imbalances. I work well with Procore, Builder, Trend, Plan Grid, so on, so on. And if you want to start now, you can start talking to it. What's your project? What phase are you in? What budget or resource constraints do you have? And any issues that you're currently facing on the project. So this seems like a pretty cool one. Get in here if you can. Go with custom GPTs. If you type in, you're gonna find a few examples here. And these are traditionally people that have built it for themselves that are like, I might as well share it, why not? This one does engineering drawings. This one does like very specific projects, materials, and trends. So these are already built. The heavy lift is already done, but I also showed you guys with this create button, you can make one just as easy. You can also, I did this configure option when I created mine, but you can also literally create a custom GPT, like I am tired of, I don't know, writing the same emails to subs over and over on project details. And it will actually just configure this whole custom GPT with you. And it will actually update it, write the prompts, write the instructions. You can see here in the configuration tab, it did all of that hard work that we were doing earlier, all automatically. And it can basically then accept all the files, the project document files, and so on. And it can then have it in its knowledge base. So whenever you paste in an email, it automatically can reply. So that's a little bit about custom GPTs today. I will stick around for a few more minutes here, answer any questions. I want to also let you guys know that we do have our AI blueprint community. So if you're not a part of that yet, I highly recommend that you guys join the AI Blueprint. We talk daily about this. Let me get my invite link here. I'm gonna put it in the chat just in case you guys don't have it yet. But in here, I'm recording a new course tomorrow. All the webinars are referenced here. We have resources here. We have a full course here. Our advanced prompting course should be coming out next week. I'm filming the rest of it tomorrow. On the calendar here, you can see all of our webinars as well as I do in office hours for members of this group only, where I sit with them for 30 minutes. We talk about construction, we talk about AI and what you are building for your own operations in here. Here you have a bunch of different resources, but you also have all of the members from all over the world here. And I think that I don't know if I can pull up the map version, but there is a cool map version showing where people are. Oh, here we go, map version all over the world that are in this construction focused AI community. Obviously, the majority of them being here in the United States, but it's really cool. We're all building really cool things for construction in here, and pretty much everybody in here is some sort of project manager, owner, CEO, so on. We have 52 members already, and we are growing every single day. So here from Joshua, what's the difference between starting a new project and starting a new GPT? So I'm assuming, oh, project, I got you. So here's projects. Projects are like filing systems. A GPT is going to be, something that you can give a lot of previous information. So if I edit this GPT, I have instructions like act as this, so on, so on, so on. Here's all these, subcontract examples. So when you generate a new subcontract, you're able to reference this. It's in your brain, right? A project, and I don't know, come in here to let me just do this one. So like a project would be a way to file away chats. So if I wanted to file this away into my like AI blueprint, for example, I can then save this basically into the AI blueprint. You can also add files here, but these files are more like informational. You're not giving it a brain and you're not giving it instructions. So this is to train it, like almost create your own version of ChatGPT with a lot of background data and a lot of instruction. This is like filing away your different chats. So, I'm going to create a new chat here that's like, hey, this is another chat I am doing live. Now, when I come back to AI Blueprint, I would be able to see multiple chats. I didn't let it finish its chat, so I didn't save it. But that's pretty much the difference. I hope that gives you some clarity. You really want to have, so here we go. So now I have my two previous chats. With this GPT, it's almost starting fresh every single time, but it's referencing the brain. This is like just foldering, filing away, a better way to organize your chats. And then if you have any files that you want it to reference, you can, but you're doing that same like iterative process on ask a question, refine it, ask a question, refine it, ask a question, refine it with these projects. I hope that answers your question okay, Joshua. All right, we have 3 minutes left here. I can hang around for the 3 minutes if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, we will be taking a week off next week from the live webinars to finalize this course for the AI Blueprint community, but we will be back the week following full force. And I'm really excited about that one because there's a pretty intricate kind of like certificate of analysis and document flow that I'm thinking about presenting. As usual, if you guys have any recommendations on what you want me to research and what you want me to kind of present here in these webinars, please send them to me. I want to make these about what you guys want to see on a daily basis, not what I want to see. And maybe I'll do one on projects next too as well. So I hope that this was informational for you guys. Again, my goal here is for you guys to walk away from these meetings, these webinars every single week, feeling like you gained some knowledge, that you're one step closer to being, you know, a badass AI kind of user here, and you're not doing any grunt work in your day-to-day operations any longer. So with that, I'll turn my camera off, but I will hang out. So if a question does pop in, I will answer it. Thank you guys.